Hello, guys. Thank you so much for being here. It's such a pleasure to have you here. And today we'll be talking about Lauder Business School and the bachelor program called International Business Administration, because that school has 3 programs, 2 masters, 1 bachelor, and we're talking about this one specifically. And please briefly introduce yourselves.
Okay, my name is Anton. I'm studying at Lauder Business School, and I come from Russia.
Hi to everyone. I'm Nihal, and I'm also a student at Lauder Business School, and I come from Bulgaria.
And we have 2 different countries, so we have like the EU countries and also the non-EU countries, because the application procedure might be a bit different regarding the deadlines, because people who come from abroad, not from EU, they have to do the document, and so it takes a bit longer. So that's why we will discuss both viewpoints for the admission procedure especially. And we will begin with the first question. The classical one is, why did you decide to apply to Lauder?
So I decided to apply to Lauder because I wanted to study abroad. I wanted to have something international, and also I wanted to have an English-speaking program. So these were my reasons.
Yeah, one of the reasons that he mentioned is that Lauder Business School offers programs in English, and it took me some time to consider different options in Vienna, because they're very good universities, and Lauder Business School is one of them. So after this process of research and consideration, I decided to apply to Lauder Business School.
I think for you also, some friends of you recommended
Yes,
you to
true.
apply. Yeah.
Yes.
It is a long story, because I know also your friends and she knows my friends. So yeah. And when did you decide to apply?
So first of all, I decided to apply last year. Okay, it was not last year, but it was 2020. And then I applied in March in 2021.
Mm-hmm. So it was like so it was like a very, very solid choice, I think, because you considered it.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
And what about you?
I applied to several universities, and after the process, I decided to give it a try with Lauder Business School. I think it was in the beginning of the summer with 2021.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. And let's briefly mention the deadlines for different students from different countries. So from when until when can you apply to Lauder if you're from non-EU and EU?
So for us, as for non-EU countries, so the deadline slightly changed. So last year it was applying date from February, and now it starts from mid of January. You can check it on the website. And the due date is 30th of June, if I'm not mistaken.
I guess European students are more privileged, but yeah, I think the process starts around middle of June, sometimes of February. You have to make sure on their website. But for me, I think it was 5th of September, the end of the deadline. So I had time.
Yeah. So yeah, from you, it's a bit easier for document-wise. That's why the deadline is a bit, I think, extended in this case.
Yes.
So yeah, you kind of have more time to think about it. Yeah, it's very common. And since we mentioned the application procedure and deadlines, we will slowly move into how it went actually, like from the registration and how it goes from there. What are the steps you have to go through?
So in my case, first of all, I needed to prepare my leaving school diploma, which I had to legalize, and officially it can take up to 45 days. But for me, it took, let's say, 2 weeks. I was lucky to get this document. Then I also needed to translate everything, to legalize. So that's quite a bit tough procedures. But it took me around, to prepare all the documents, maybe 2 to 3 months. So consider that it will take a long period of time.
Yes, I remember preparing my documents way before in the end of 2020. Yes, because I knew that it will take time because of the translation process, and for some documents you need also legislation.
Yeah.
I needed my diploma. I needed 2 recommendation letters. Also the certificate of language, at least B2 of English. What else? yeah, I think that was it for now.
Yeah, so the first step is your document application, which you load in your online profile. So it's going to be the school diploma, legalized and translated if needed, depending on where you come from. The English proficiency document, IELTS, TOEFL, anything else, it's going to be on their website, like what exactly they accept, minimum B2. 2 recommendation letters from professors, right? Not from just anyone.
As far as I know, you need from your teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically it's like from your 2 teachers. It might be, let's say, a principal and your head teacher, or just 2 teachers from your high school.
So you make friends with some teachers, because you will need that good impressions you made at least at 2 subjects to then carry on with your uni application.
But maybe it's appropriate to say that 2 subjects which will be more or less like required to your program. Let's say in our case, it would be good to have, like, let's say, an English teacher or a math teacher. Or, yeah.
Maybe like social sciences, like economics, if you have it at school, something like related to it. Because at Russian schools, we have a subject called social sciences. It has economics, politics, and sociology and stuff all together. So yeah, so it cannot be a PE teacher. It cannot be a history teacher. It doesn't fit. It can be, but yeah, or the head, or the principal, or the head, if you know them, and if you can come up to them, so don't be shy to ask. And then you have,
CV also.
You also have CV, both of you. And for the CV, what are the main points you have to include in it?
I think that I use Europass, and they're like you can directly add your information there, and the structuring is very easy. So for me, it was my experience. It's very preferable to include your social activities, because they really do appreciate like volunteering, charity works, if you have any of them. But it's the main thing is that you should include your basic information about yourself. Your email, your
education, where you got
education.
The most important thing is where you studied,
yes,
from when till when, if you change schools, and then everything is an add-on.
Yes,
the languages you know, the experience you have. So please invest some time, I guess, in the CV, because it's going to be a document that they're going to look at, and it's also going to lie in your kind of folder. So maybe sometime an opportunity pops up, and they're going to remember you in your CV. But maybe you never know. And for you, it's also a CV, right? Yeah,
for me, it was a CV. I did like a basic one. First of all, you need to put their education. Then you need to mention all the subjects which you studied. And it's also applied to Lauder, because it will be also later discussed about the languages which you can choose in Lauder. But yeah, that's what they see there. And also all the contact details. And if you have some special activities or awards, you can also add it there.
And about the subjects you took, is it every subject you took in school, or just the language subjects?
No, you mentioned all the subjects there.
Oh, so all the subjects you had in your high school?
Yes, let's say last year, or maybe last 2 years.
Is it the same for you?
No, it was not, because I provided them with my diploma, and in my diploma, all of the subjects that I studied were provided there. So it was not necessary for me.
But you also got sent your diploma, right?
Yeah, of course. So in my diploma, there were like the diploma which mentioned that I finished like studies at this period, and also all the subject also mentioned there. But
you still had to put them in your CV.
I guess so. Yeah.
You can, just in case, you can put them.
Yeah.
You can, like, at the end, maybe the CV, like a separate, because Europass has a good template. I also use it when I was applying for universities. You can put in the template at the end, like extra information, and you can put like school subjects. It doesn't hurt anyone. It's not wrong to include it there.
There is a special like button which you can press, and then you just add it there.
Yeah. Europass is everybody uses it. Yeah. When I talk to anyone, they use it with Europass for the CV. You can also add your picture there. It's really easy, and it has like a nice formatting. It's not too boring, and it's kind of professional in a professional way. It's not like, a creative one. So the documents are, I think, more or less the same for you too. The list is CV, recommendation letters, school diploma, and the English proficiency document.
Yeah.
So you apply them, you send them, or like you upload them in the profile, in the online profile?
Yeah, there's a website where you upload all the documents and then you follow the steps which are provided there.
And the next two steps are going to be the essay and the interview. So let's discuss them, because I think students are kind of, are a bit like they don't know what's going to go. So let's provide some clarity. And can you please tell us about the essay, the first step, which is kind of the selection step?
Okay, after you upload all your documents, and it will take time for them to look through what you have provided, and then within some days they will send you the requirement of an essay with the topic. Mine was leadership. Actually, there are no strict requirements. Just stick to your words and your ideas, and you should be original, and try to impress them, because there are many students that share their opinion, but you have to impress them in a way. So it's important. Try to be creative a bit. Yeah, that was it. I just wrote a text on more extra words, and yeah.
And to write the text, do you have to do some research to write it, or can you just put in your own words?
My topic was about leadership. I had previous experience in this field, so I did not make research. I just decided to share my opinion, and you can also include your experience there, but try not to do so, because they already know about you from your CV. Maybe that's the recommendation. Maybe the words limit is around, for me it was 500 words, I guess, something like that.
And what about you?
For me, I got marketing topic, which was about let's say marketing for different genders and some differences. I don't remember the topic exactly. So we had we needed to finish it up to 2 days, 2 days, and then that is deadline for your essay. So when I got it, I wrote the essay the exact same night, so I didn't sleep. So it took me, let's say, 6 hours. I didn't understand the topic. I had to do my research, and it was a bit more difficult, I guess. But I was not that much familiar with the topic.
They can expect everything, basically.
Yeah. Any topic related to kind of business economics, like leadership, marketing, maybe some economics, business. So any sustainability, maybe, if you recycle. And so the topics can be very, very not random, but you don't know what the topic is going to be ahead of time. So they're going to tell you the topic. They're going to send it to you by email.
Yes, it was by email. And also, it's important to mention, when you wrote your essay, try to check it a few times. Yes.
I think they wanted to say. So when you write your essay, check it with Grammarly or any other tools for grammar, and it has to be in academic style. So no contractions, no slang, no
words.
jokes. Yeah.
Also, for me, I use Times New Roman and 18 the Schrift. And it's important to stick to paragraphs. And to structure it, align the text in a proper way, so that it's not all over the paper.
No pictures, yes. You want to say?
No, so that was important, and maybe you can give it to read to somebody who also might help you with that. Yeah,
you can give it to your friends, maybe, or to your parents, maybe to your teachers, so they can give you an honest opinion. You just have 2 days to do it, but it's still enough time to maybe ask your close people
to check it, but do not plagiarize from somewhere, because from our experience it will be checked by professional plagiarism check.
Yes, that's very important. They have their academic standards, how this kind of paper should look like, and they definitely check for originality.
It's a big thing with universities in Europe and in Austria, as far as we know. They check plagiarism. All of your works will be checked for plagiarism, even when you start studying. You cannot have copy from somewhere, and you cannot copy from a page in your language and then turn it to English and put it there, because the plagiarism detector the universities have is more advanced than the basic ones you can find on the internet. Just bear that in mind. And also, I want to say something. You cannot have somebody else write it for you. If it's not, I think it's not legal even. It can be punished. You cannot have somebody else do the work for you. You have to write it yourself.
It's not a good thing. It's
Yeah,
possible.
obviously,
It cannot be
yes.
checked, but it's
But
not a
if
good
it
thing
ever
to do.
comes up, it's gonna haunt you, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just, it has to be your words, has to be your ideas, because you're the one applying. And during the interview, which comes next, so after you submit your essay, and after how many days do you get the interview invitation?
For me, it was 2 weeks, as I would say.
For me, it was 1 week.
So yeah, 1 or 2 weeks. And then during the interview, so how it goes?
So it was the most stressful part. I was checking all the Zoom settings. I checked my internet, all the connections, everything that might possibly go wrong. I checked like 3 times. And when I went and joined the interview, it was through Zoom. So you just join it and then you see their professor. And my interview started like this. Hello, can you please download the document? Okay, nice beginning. Okay, then I uploaded the document, and okay, I've seen their math. I did not like that part. Yeah, but still, there were like 2 choices. You might have gotten either math check or let's say marketing topics or leadership or everything regarding like economics, business, whatever.
Like a case study, I think.
Yeah, a case study. But I got math. Then after like 10 minutes or maybe a bit more, I was trying to solve it. Then the professor asked me what were my results. I answered, let's say, 2 out of 3 questions right. And then we went to the interview part, which I was like looking forward so much. So they allowed me to talk.
Yeah.
So I would not see myself as a math, somebody who will not pass because of math. And then they were asking like some basic and general questions. Yeah, that's how my interview went, and it was quite okay.
How long did it last?
Including math part, I would say 30 minutes.
So book yourself an hour for the time, and then think it shouldn't last more than an hour, like 30, 40 minutes, depending how it goes.
Book
And-
yourself more, I'm sorry. Book yourself like 2 hours, 3 hours.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay, extra careful, yeah.
that's important, yeah.
Okay.
And just one last thing. Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah, it's very important, and I recommend you to check the technical stuff. And even if you're not used to working on Zoom, you can start your own Zoom call to check how you look like, or
Offer this to a friend.
yes, exactly, and where you can text, because they send me the document as well with the I had math tasks. And make sure that you're able to find it, because you might get stressed, and it's not a good thing to ask, where can I find it? Yes, because they usually all the online lectures are on Zoom, and so they expect you to be aware of the technical stuff. So how was my interview? Okay, so he said hello for sure, but for me, yeah, he said that I should dole out the document. I expected that there might be something because of my friend. She recommended, and she said that they might ask me some questions. So I downloaded the document on the chat. He posted the link there, I guess, and I saw math tasks.
You're like, here we go.
I was surprised for sure, but don't worry. This is on the mature level. So, but just make sure that you know, like, not the basics, but at least to some extent, so that you're able to solve the questions, because you're enrolling in university.
Yeah.
For me, it was easy because of the course. I was taking Maria's course. So, yeah, I had, I guess, around 3 questions as well. Yeah. So.
And about the math part, so for universities in Austria, even like for the programs where it has like maths, to some extent like a technical program or a business and economics program, because you have to count there as well, The entrance exam is usually, if there is one, if the number of applicants exceeds the number of places, it's usually on the basis of the Matura. I've heard it from many people, from Klagenfurt, Linz, from Lauder, from VUBB. The part of the math part of the entrance exam usually based on the Matura one, because Matura is the high school leaving exam of Austrian students. So when they leave high school, they kind of have this basic knowledge, and then the university entrance exams are around that knowledge, maybe a bit higher. So yeah, it's kind of the basis for usually any entrance exam to a kind of a program which has one. And yeah, and they will also, before the interview, I think they will send you out some information about the topics you have to know. Because I think a friend of yours also mentioned that they kind of tell you what kind of topics to expect for the math part. I think they mentioned it at least to some extent.
For the math part, no, I guess they do not mention. We had just an example on the website. There was like one math test, that was it, which we could just try to solve by ourselves. I prepared this one, but that's basically it for math. Maybe they mentioned a few topics on the study case, but not exactly for math part. But for math part, I also wanted to add for like Russians especially. It's a bit different. Like our high school does not cover everything what was included in Matura level of Austrian math. So, for example, when I later discussed the topics of math, they said that it's sometimes not included in like our program.
Yeah, please, because if you're applying to Austria, you have to kind of tailor your knowledge to Austrian standards. It's logical. If you're applying to USA, you have to tailor your knowledge to USA. Just look at it everywhere. So please try to solve like some Matura tasks, or look at the topics needed for the Matura tasks. Maybe learn them from yourself. So prepare. This is university. You have to prepare for university. You're adults by this point. You have to make adult decisions and adult actions. But even if you make a mistake or two, you make a small miscalculation, I think it's still going to be fine if you make a good impression later. So don't be shaking about making a tiny miscalculation or like forgetting about the minus or something. If they see you kind of got it more or less right, or the interview goes really well, you still have the chance of getting accepted.
So there are 3 options. Is that the next topic we talk about? Like 3 options when you finish the interview. Like you can either be accepted, not accepted, or being put on the waiting list.
Yeah, they can all happen. Yeah. And what were the questions in the main interview part for you?
You can go.
Okay, if I start, first of all, they ask to introduce yourself, and then they probably ask me to tell something about my background, about my friends and family. They also asked what is my motivation to study in Lauder, exactly the same question we were asked at the beginning. And then they asked something general, I would say. Yeah.
The question, tell me a little bit about yourself.
That's the typical one.
No, there were not exactly this one, but similar, yeah.
They asked me this question. And also they ask why I decided to apply for Lauder Business School. So maybe you should really think about this question and come up with, just get to know more about the university, about the community, so that you show them that you know and you're aware and the reason why you want to be there, so that you can impress them. And they ask about my hobbies, my family as well. And something about the maths part, I'm sorry to get back to this point. They give you 5 minutes. Don't get stressed. It's fine. You got it. I mean, even if you're not able to solve them, they have to see your confidence. Because that's how, like,
it's like sweat being dropped, down on your face. That's not a good sign, but So when you're confident, even if you make a couple of mistakes, it's fine. It's not like the world is gonna end. So please, because what happens is like when you make a tiny mistake, you think about it all the time. So if you got one question out of 3 wrong, and during the main interview part you think about that mistake and you don't show your full potential, it's gonna be worse than just making the mistake and forgetting about it and letting it go and then continuing to the main part like as a fresh start, I would say. And the interview, so you have to have charisma, how to be confident, and you can rehearse it with your friends, your family. Just get the main interview questions for maybe a job application or university application. on the internet, I think there are many examples, like typical situations, and you can maybe rehearse some of the questions.
Yeah, try to prepare your questions. So some basic ones. And there is also one question which is stated why you should be accepted to the Lauder Business School.
Yeah. So why you're the one?
Yeah.
So really think, because this is a question you can't answer on the spot. I think you have to think about it, and also you have to research about the school as well. So when they ask you why you want to apply to our school or to our university, research what's on the website, because you have to make your research before applying somewhere to see if it's the right fit for you. Like, does it have the curriculum you want? Does it have the maybe schedule or something, other facilities it has you want? And then if it does, you can mention that this and this and this kind of checklists in my mind are checked, and that's why I'm applying. So yeah, I think the interview, so you do the documents and the essay, then the interview, and then it's done. And then do they let you know immediately if you're accepted or not?
For me, it took, let's say, 2 days for my results.
They said that they will send the results the latest in 2 weeks, but they send it after some minutes.
Nice. So yeah, 1 or 2 working days, or like on the same day.
It depends.
It depends. Yeah. So yeah, it's not like a month of waiting. Don't worry. You're gonna be shaking your hands waiting for the emails, because like we're checking the email box, but it's not gonna take it's gonna take like a few days maximum to get the result. And so how easy is it to get there? Like, how many, do you know maybe any numbers of how many students are applying and how many spots there are? Is there any information you have about that?
For this information, I suppose that there is no way we can check how many people applied to Lauder, only if you have connections, I would say. Okay, let's assume that we do not. And about spots, I thought for myself that it's around, let's say, 120 spots, because the university is quite small and we have 3 programs, and it's around 350 to 400 students. And if you divide it by 3, then you get your number.
Some math skills already. You can. This is your first practice task. And so you have around 100 students in your program?
Yeah, let's say 90 students. 90 students.
And how many are you divided into 2 groups, or is it one big group? How does the studies go?
We're in 2 groups. I'm from group A and he's from group B.
Okay.
Yeah, we're 2 groups, but it depends. If there are more students, they can make 3 groups or maybe 4. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And is there anything applicants need to know before applying there? Like any insights you want to give?
That's a good question.
Okay, I think the environment is quite international. So in order to communicate well, get to know more about the cultural differences and how you can take advantage of these differences, because when you know because there are a variety of people and the way they approach to different things is different. So maybe you can make research about different cultures if you're interested.
The Austrian one, the Jewish culture.
Yes.
Yeah, or maybe I think I know a girl, your friend is from Romania, another mutual friend of ours is from France. So yeah, it's a mix of people. So you have to be a good international communicator. Yeah, you have to,
Yes.
Maybe one additional point, especially for Russian speakers. I was so surprised when I came there and I heard a lot of Russian. So if you come from Russian-speaking countries, you will have one small, powerful benefit. So a lot of people there speak Russian. That's one hint.
A lot of people in Vienna speaking Russian. When you go around the center, you hear Russian speaking.
Yeah.
You wanted to say something?
Yeah, their community is quite big.
Yeah. And let's mention a topic. So I think Lauder was founded by a Jewish businessman, if I'm not mistaken. And is it how is the environment there? Do you have maybe any Jewish holidays there? Is it catered to that in a way, to the culture?
In the first day of the semester, when we were introduced to the program and to the whole environment, they mentioned that we celebrate the Jewish holidays and also the official holidays in Austria. So it's like a bonus for you, so that you can have time to study maybe or to get to know people more.
So yeah, university recognizes Jewish celebrations, and also we have some holidays, especially for Jewish. Well, no, they are for everybody. I mean. Yeah, and also we have student dormitories, which are especially for Jewish people. So you cannot apply there if you do not have Jewish roots. So that might be one benefit. And also we have quite a good canteen. I've been there only once. My shame, but still it's quite nice.
And sometimes I talked with a friend, sometimes on some occasions they also might serve some Jewish traditional food there for like, it's up to you to choose it, of course, but yeah, it's also good. And yeah, if you're Jewish, so is it dormitory, so you apply for the dormitory, and is it free for you if you're from?
No, they actually also pay a price. I do not know the price itself, but yeah, it's basically maybe a bit cheaper than in other dormitories, but like a small amount.
The dormitory is supposed to accept Jewish people from Jewish community, but it does not mean that you can ask so that you can go around, because the campus is so beautiful, the architecture, and they also provide study rooms in the dormitory, so you can go there if you, for example, arrive sometimes like me in the morning, and I just go there and I get to know people because they're usually students studying, so yeah.
And the facilities at Lauder, so you mentioned the campus, so is it like, how does it look like? Do you have like a garden, maybe a library, anything you want to mention?
The garden, yes, we do have a garden, and it's like, just imagine the fairy tale of Snow White, and the like, it's a mixture of a small forest and a garden. I went to the campus during the summer to check that everything is alright, and it is amazing, but it turned out that it is amazing again during the autumn and winter, and sometimes we, with friends, we just, between the lectures, when we have gaps, we just go for a walk, and it's very relaxing. And the campus inside, you want to share?
I mean, yeah, the atmosphere there is quite beautiful, and also we have some nature, which is just inside the university, like on the in the main part, and also we have some, let's say, squirrels there. That's quite unusual, and it's quite nice. Yeah, that's a good part.
How about the library or the lecture halls?
Yeah, we do have one small library where you can borrow books. It is quite strict. If you miss one day of your deadline, you have to pay €1 for a day, just for you to know. And if you miss it for quite a long time, okay, do it earlier. But that is quite nice.
Yeah, you have like that. Also on campus, do you have like some study rooms, the group projects in?
We're still in the first semester, but I think it's we do have. Once I had to do a project with friends, so I just went to the admission office and I asked for a room, and they of course will, I think, accept your So yeah, we do have, the library is so nice as well. I can tell many stuff, but it's about you, and if you're curious, you can just, take action and apply, and maybe you will have the chance to get to know the whole environment.
Or also you can maybe have like a little campus tour, maybe if you're like passing by Vienna, passing by Lauder, you can see it from the outside, and so on. And now we move on to like the more like the question everybody asks: how much does one semester cost for you and non-EU students?
For European students, I think it's €368 plus €20 additional as
or Hathi.
Yes.
Cool like that,
Yes, that's it.
I mean, it's the easiest questions. You can check it on the website. But okay, for you to know, the non-European part, you pay 726 plus €20 for student union.
Yes, it's the highest like student union, and like that for most universities in Austria. If it's not a private university in Austria, the fees are the same more or less, as we just mentioned. Yes, and you can of course look at the website for all the official information. Yes, this is just that people ask this question, but yeah, it's just to get it out of the way. So anything to say about the location of the campus, and like, for example, how long does it take you to get there? Is it like near a metro station or something?
Okay, maybe I can answer this question. Yes, it is located in the 19th district. It's quite a good district as far as I know. Yeah. So we study in a mansion, like our campus, maybe it says something to you. And it is located near two stations. One Schnellbahn, which is Oberdobling. If you know Vienna, you can see it. And also there's Spitalau, which is also not that far. I would say 10 minutes of walk from like metro stations.
Nice. So yeah, the public transport in Vienna, by the way, it's amazing. So yeah, if something is close to the metro, you won the lottery. It will usually won't take it too long to get there. And let's talk about your study experience. Let's talk about the first days. So how did your first day start?
Okay, so my first day, they were checking about the regulations. Just keep in mind about the vaccinations and just be aware of what are the requirements in Austria, because our universities stick to those requirements without any. They keep to the rules.
Everybody has to keep to the rules.
Yes, exactly. So you should be aware of this. What else? It was nice because all the students were mixed during the first day, and you have the chance to get to know about students from other semesters. So basically, we also get to know about the program. There were a student union that was giving us some stuff from the university, like masks, pens.
Oh yeah, the goodies.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It was great.
How it was for you?
So the first day started great. We went there on the 5th of October. Then there we applied and we checked all the document stuff. We signed a document for your contract. Then we had a main presentation. We get to know people from group A and group B in our case. And for example, if you make friends in different groups, then it will be mixed during the first day. We didn't know that, but it was written which group you belong to on your platform on the website.
Yeah. So it's good to have a mixture of friends from different groups, networking. Yeah. And then, so now that you are into the studies and you finished the first semester, congratulations. The semester break just started for us a couple of days ago, or 1 or 2 days ago. And now we're having a full month of February off. It's like that in most universities in Austria. So we're enjoying our time. And how is education going so far? The program, the curriculum, what subjects you have, professors, and yeah, how is it scheduled? How does it all look like?
Okay, let's start with the schedule. It is fixed, and you have to stick with the schedule that they provide you. So if you want to find additional work or to engage with other activities, just bear in mind that you have to be on time for the lectures, and you need to be kind of able to be more organized. Time management is very important. Because they keep track of your absence. I think the 75% is the most. Yes, so you have to barely attend in all of the lectures except 2 or 3 times per lecture. Also, we're in classes of 40 people, let's say 45, and let's say we're small classes, and this implies that we are have close relationship with the professors. They come to us and ask during the discussions whether we need help, or you can also go to them and ask them. It's their job. They will reply. So don't worry, never be scared. And this is something very good for me because I don't feel confused, because I know that there is someone that will explain to me. Also the subjects, maybe Anton, you want to say?
Okay, so for the subjects, we have 11 subjects. Now I know the exact number. We have subjects let's say, finance and investment, financial accounting, some math-related subjects, also some subjects like cultural psychology, private law, and also you can check the list on the website. And the important thing that they stick to the rule of absence. And as Nihal mentioned, we have 75%. And let's say you have 26% absence. What happens then? Maybe you can say what happens.
I'm scared to tell. Okay, so if you don't stick to this rule, basically you're not allowed to take the exams. And this happens to us because during the exam, before it started, they check your absence and you will be kicked out. I'm sorry to say that. But yeah, these are the rules.
You know them.
Yeah.
So that's the sad truth. Like you're basically like you came to the exam, to the exact place. You're sitting with your paper. You're trying to think like, okay, I will solve it like this. Then the professor comes to you, and then he says, you're not allowed to this exam, please.
And what happens? Do you retake the subject?
Yes, you go to a retake, and we have the system which allows us to have one retake and one retake which is called commission. And if you fail both of them, you're expelled, basically. And you have a possibility to take 1 year to repeat the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's important stuff.
So if you fail the subjects, so you're kicked out of the exam, right? So you go just to the retake. Do you repeat the subject again, the whole subject?
No, if you go to retake, you repeat just the exam.
Okay.
Like the final exam.
So at that time, the attendance requirements kind of drop at that. So when you go to the retake.
Yes. Okay. In case you lost your, you lost the percentage, like you got 30% of absence, then you straightforward go to retake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you can still take the exam, which is going to be a different day.
Yeah, and you have less tries.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, maybe it's important to add here different exams, like we have midterm and final exams, and usually the midterm exams are 40%. Mm-hmm. So if you are not able to attend or you fail your exam, it's fine. You can take the final one, but basically you have to score 100% so that you're able to pass your subject.
And just one more thing to add. So there are two types of universities in Austria: universities of applied sciences, or Fachhochschule. Sometimes they're called like that in the German version, and also just regular university, like that, just a university. And the difference between them. So, for example, Lauder Business School or Fachhochschule des BFI Wien, they have stricter schedules. So you're gonna have like a fixed. So you cannot choose the subjects you will take later, or right now you will take more subjects now. And also they have kind of a stricter exam policy. At a university, you can retake a subject up to 5 times. You can take you have usually a retake if you fail the exam, and then you can also, if you fail it again, you can retake the whole subject, not just the exam but the whole subject 5 times, if within a period of a year once you failed it. And also in university, once you pass the introductory phase, like the first 3 or 4 or maybe 2 subjects, you can then choose your courses as you want. So you can adapt your work, so you can adapt the studies to your work. In case, because the age range is different, so usually it's between 18 years old and 27 or 30 years old. So we have people from all over the place. And because of that, you can, for example, take we have usually 6 subjects per semester. You can take 4 and nobody will do anything. They won't punish you for that. Or you can take 8 subjects, so you can take more or less subjects depending on your schedule, and you can finish a program in 3 years. Usually for you it's fixed 3 years, and in university you can finish it in 3 years, but you can finish it in 2.5 or 4 years or more. You're kind of your own boss in this way, so it's more up to you. So Fachhochschule, they're kind of more strict, and you know for sure the structure. You don't have to choose, you don't have to panic. And for university, what I'm studying at WBBE, once you go for the main phase, you have to choose specializations for electives, and you have a lot of choice, and it can overwhelm you a bit, because, it's up to you, it's your responsibility. If you choose 2 subjects that overlap, nobody's gonna solve it for you, it's your problem. And so sometimes people change from a general university to a Fachhochschule one, to an applied sciences one, because they want to know for sure they're going to finish a program and get over with it. because in the German programs usually there are a lot of students. For example, the German programs of VU, like 2,000 or 3,000 students in the program, and taking the courses you want you can like miss out, like you can miss out the spots because they can be taken for the courses you need to take in this semester. So it depends on your character. Like, do you want a more organized thing where you know for sure this and this and this and this is going to happen, or do you want a more like freedom and it's your responsibility, you self-organize a lot of things? And yeah, so this is the main difference between general universities and universities of applied sciences. So the applied sciences are a bit stricter. They have kind of they're more fixed, and universities are just it's your numbers in the system. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, good luck. So you're left up to yourself. Of course, you can ask professors, just like in any university, it's their job. But yeah, you're usually after the first, for example, BBs after the first 3 semesters, which are kind of planned out in a good way for you if you follow the schedule. Then it's the second half of the studies, the second 3 semesters, the other 3 semesters are up to like free electives, specializations you take, internships, semesters abroad, and so on. So yeah, just be aware this is the main difference because people ask me about that. And about specializations, I think you have 2 ways you can go: finance and marketing, right? Mm-hmm. And so when does it start? How does it go? Just general.
I think it starts from the 3rd semesters, where we need to specialize, like we need to choose a group which we want to be on, like marketing or finance, like international finance. I'm not sure, but yeah, that is the choice we have on the 3rd semester.
Nice. And languages, you mentioned it before, so this is a very good advantage because usually it's not provided to you by the university. You have to pay extra for it. For courses you have to find a private tutor, but at Lauder they give you a choice of languages. And please, you can tell us about it.
It's a great advantage to be able to learn languages at university. They have options. I think it's a bit German, like from A1 level, or business German, Hebrew, Russian, Spanish, Chinese as well. So yeah, you have all of these options and that you can choose from. And also, if you want to find a job here in Austria, German is a requirement, and the university prepares you for that. So every semester you level up half of a level, let's say A1.1 and then A1.2, and it falls like that. And in the end of the 3 years, you basically finish with, let's say, B2. If you start from business German, it can be C1 as well.
Yeah, we start from the higher level, of course, once you move up. And about the internships, we mentioned that like you have the CV, right, when you go into university, but you also, once you finish a program at the university, you also kind of, your CV changes, of course. And does the university help you kind of, because I think you told me that sometimes they have like internships, like a fixed one you have to take, so it builds up your CV during the program as part of the program. Can you please tell us about that?
I think for CVs and all the help we might get, I think, yeah, we do have a coordinator. She might help us to do it. We have a specialist about it. And for the internship, like as we said, we're studying in University of Applied Sciences. Applied, so it's a hint.
Applied, yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna do it on practice. That's the final semester, which will be held as a practice and as an internship.
Nice. So it's like mandatory.
Yeah.
Because at general universities, it's not like you can do it if you want, but you don't have to do it. It's up to you. You're just left to yourself, and yeah, so you kind of figure out what you want and this and this and this, and there's kind of more fixed because of the fixed schedule. So yeah, and when your CV kind of automatically levitates, it levels up because of the German or other language you chose to study. It goes up levels, and you also have an internship which you can also put on your CV once you finish the bachelor program.
Yeah, and maybe if you start here with no German, it would be a good thing to take German course. If you study, in case you studied German in your school, at least a few years.
At least 3 years. I think.
It depends. You're not allowed to take the German course or with the other languages. Like if you studied Spanish in school, then you're not allowed to take Spanish. They will check your level, but that's the general rule.
Yeah, about the level. In first day of the semester, I had an exam for business German, and they checked what we know, but it was only for business German. I mean, I think that you have to, during the application process, you have to indicate how many years you have studied before, and if it's more than 3 years, then yeah, you're not allowed to take it. Maybe you can enroll in business German. They decide, and there is an like a written exam and oral assessment as well. So like your general score, if it's above 80%, and then you can, you're not allowed to take the.
Suspicious, you know, when you apply to 80%.
Yes.
And maybe one good addition here: try not to fake your language level. I know that there are some people who had like German, let's say B2, C1, and they try to enroll to business German. So yeah, they kind of understand it. That's a thing. So try not to do it.
Yeah, just be honest.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you have a B2 or C1 German, why take it again? Like, expand your horizons. You can take Spanish or Chinese or Russian if you want, or Hebrew, and you can kind of expand your knowledge. Why would you want to take the easier route when you can take a more exciting one, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And now we're slowly coming to the end of the interview. Is there anything you want to add about anything we have talked about right now? Any additions?
Okay. Maybe when I was considering Lauder Business School, I thought as one of my drawbacks about Lauder, it was rating system because it was not quite high, but that's what I have to say to you. First of all, it's quite a new university, and this does not matter that much. When you come to Lauder, you see that here's just quite great, and this does not mean anything. So that's very important.
I think that we talked a lot about different aspects. I think that in order to, if you really want to take Lauder Business School as an option or like your priority, take action and you will discover yourself. And don't be afraid, even if you're not accepted, that means that you have different options, and this teaches you a lesson. And be ready to be part of an international environment. This can be a challenge for you, and this can be an advantage. So yeah,
when you're enrolled to universities, you can get a rejection. They can not accept you after the essay, after the interview. It's all possible in all stages of the application procedure. So please have other plans. And this is I always tell people, no matter where they apply, what's their first priority. Please have backup plans about what else would you like to do, like what other universities, maybe in other countries or in other cities you want to go to, and what other programs you want to take, because a rejection is always possible. You don't guarantee anything. Like when you apply, they can take you, but they can also not take you. And yeah.
In this case, if you're being put on the waiting list, it might be the worst case scenario, one of the worst. So do not panic and wait. Maybe you will be accepted.
Yeah, the waiting part, it stresses you out. Like when you know the answer, it's a bit better, but when it's like waiting up, it's like, what's going to happen next? Where is it going to take me? And about the job opportunities, everybody, when they're applying to university, they research the job opportunities after it. Like once they finish a program, where do you think this degree will take you regarding job-wise?
I think that the university really helps you with finding jobs, and they have their own platform where they can update very good job offers from international companies. But the thing is that most of them are German, but of course if you make your if you search properly, you can find English ones as well. And also, as I said, German is plus, or even not German, other languages might serve as a bonus in a company that needs this language. And I also met many friends that are teaching their language, and if you master this language, you will be able to tutor it as well. So yeah,
maybe considering our subjects, you may understand, for example, if we have inclined into finance or marketing, we might work with these spheres. Let's say we might work as a bank in a bank, or as a marketing department. So there are many options, like being a manager. So whatever you like, but
accountant, maybe if it's finance.
Or entrepreneur as well.
Yeah.
Being self-employed, it's also an option. We're a business school, so yeah.
And the last question, were there any challenges you faced during the application or during the studies? Like any challenges you had throughout the whole journey up to now?
Okay, for me, challenges were mainly in the documents. So that's where I had most of the challenges. Like I applied, it was such a long journey. So yeah, that took more effort than, but I expected it, but still it was quite a lot.
Also the visa.
Yeah, that was included here.
For me, the challenge was after I got accepted, because they told us you have to be prepared before every lecture, and they provide you with chapters from the books. Also, it was kind of like the books might be expensive, so you should have not friends, but maybe you should socialize in order to ask students from the later semesters, so that they can provide you with sources, because it was challenging to find all of the books. That's one of the things, and the other aspect is that the chapters are kind of long, and you really have to manage your time so that you are able to study before the lecture, because you have to have an idea what the professor is talking, because it happened to me several times. Okay, I will study some when I have time, maybe during the weekends, and when the professor speaks something during the lecture, no idea what is going on. This might trick you also, and just imagine one chapter, second chapter, and they're like piling up, Anton, it will be a mess.
Anton has a story about not from the first day, but from the first month.
Like when you're like accepted, and as Nihal said, it's really important to study. Your first day, and you have to be prepared. Like you should be. Like I started when like 1 month passed, maybe like 80% of people also did the same thing. But then when we had some midterms, I did not realize that it was quite important. And try to take everything seriously, prepare for every subject, read every slides, every presentation. And as Nihal said, so socialization is a part. If you hurry a bit, you might get like to know us in this university, and we might help. Like you have 1 or 2 years.
Can I put your Instagrams in the description?
Yeah,
if you want.
Yeah,
sure.
And the last question about the schedule, like how many hours of lectures do you have, and how many days of lectures do you have? If you could briefly just answer that question.
Regarding this question, we're studying according to ECTS credits, so it's kind of written there. So we must have like a certain amount of hours for each subject. Roughly, let's say 2 hours per week for a subject, but it's like mid number. It can be more, it can be less.
And so, for example, a typical Wednesday day, like at what time does the lecture start? Like at what time usually do the lectures start, and at what time do they usually end? Like a typical day, how does it, like a normal day, look for you?
It really depends. I mean, in one day, let's say Monday, you can have in the morning and again in the afternoon, or around 4 or 5 p.m. And then the other day you might have only in the morning or during the
evening.
Yes. So it really depends. It's not like we have lectures only during the morning or only during the afternoon.
Or like just 9 to 5. No,
that's not the case.
It's a bit spread out.
Maybe here to add, sorry. The schedule is not fixed as well. It can be any day, any time, but we do not study on Sundays and Saturdays.
Yeah, just so you know. Yeah, when you try to reach anyone here in Austria on Saturday and Sunday, be it a university professor, be it a grocery shop, bank, insurance, anything, please take into account that usually most things don't work on Saturdays and Sundays here. That's just a rule. And also, if you try to reach a professor during these days at the university, they're not going to respond. So please plan your time well. Just keep that in mind. And just Because maybe in Russia it's a bit different, or like in in USA, for example, people work like all the time, and on Sunday you can go to a bank and they will work. But here, you have to be careful when planning your like authority-related things, because on weekends most things don't work. Just a little insight about life in Austria, and I think that's it. Thank you a lot for coming. It was a pleasure having you here, and yeah,
It was nice to discuss everything.
Yes, for sure.
so see ya.
Bye.